around and saying all kinds of things about how much better tea is than coffee. I didn't realize that this world is divided into two types of people, the coffee lovers and the tea lovers. But apparently it is. So you got to be careful about that. Welcome to another episode of Block Thrasher's Morning Brew, where we cover today's hottest cryptocurrency stories so that you don't have to take the time, because who has the time? Turn it on while you're in the car, throw on the AirPods, headphones, go for a walk, go for a run, get some exercise, and get your daily dose of cryptocurrency news, commentary, analysis, and always a little bit of education as well. Let's take a look at the market. Things are not good. Things are not good. They're definitely not horrible, but they're not good. Total market cap is down 1.7% to $1.35 trillion. Yeah, it hurts a little bit. All we're seeing is red. It's just red everywhere, pretty much, for the most part. Why? Well, there's two major news stories today. One positive. One is pretty fuddy. Fud-like, is that a word? And the other is very positive. So we'll talk about those and then a couple other headlines. But there really isn't much to explain the current downtrend right now. In fact, for all news items and all other reasons, the market should be doing better, actually, but it's not, right? So the market is an unpredictable beast. But I can tell you this, there is a level of fear setting in, not the kind of fear that is catastrophic or that is like a super strong buy signal, but there's enough capitulation and fear setting in that we could be there, and again, this time around things are already different. If you look at the charts now compared to 2017, we've already come down a lot, 40% in the total crypto space, with Bitcoin 40, 56%, wherever we're at, right? I'm not going to pull it up and look at the chart, but the point I'm trying to make is we've been trending a lot more sideways now. Now the analysts out there, the chart readers, the technical analysts are all saying all kinds of things. Obviously, anytime you listen to anybody who's doing that, it's a lot of if this happens, then that happens, and could and might and possibly, etc. So they don't know, but they try to predict. And so the thought is, well, if we go back under 30,000, we might go all the way down to 20,000, and it's you're just as accurate basically by just taking a guess. I know I probably offend some people by saying that, but I've been around this market, around this space long enough, followed those guys long enough to know that that's the way it goes down, right? And then you have the black swan events, or you have the news events that change it all, that just totally obliterate and destroy. In fact, by all metrics of stock to flow model, which has been one of the most accurate, this is a great time to buy, and we're going to look at that. All right, let's get into the market and see what's going on with prices. Currently, Bitcoin is $31,792.35, down 6.4% on the week. Ethereum got slaughtered in the last 7 days, down 18%. Other than Polkadot, Ethereum is the biggest loser. Polkadot's down 22.7%. And Cardano hit pretty bad too, down 12.8%. Ethereum is currently $1,900. Binance coin down 309, and it's only down 5.7%. And I'll tell you what, I'm a little bit surprised, because the FUD article that we have, the regulatory, which is caused by a regulatory issue, has to do with Binance. Cardano is $1.22, down 12.8%. XRP 59 cents, down 8.3. Dogecoin 19 cents, down 15.5. Now, I don't like to make predictions about markets or prices, but I'm going to say something about Dogecoin. Dogecoin has been in this constant decline, down. I mean, once, what did it hit? A high of 50 cents or something like that. Now it's at 19. I'm actually surprised it's doing as well as it is doing. I will not be surprised at all if at a certain point, some of the whales in Dogecoin just absolutely dump and obliterate that sucker. Just destroy it. I'm going to make a soft prediction that this could happen. It could not, because they might just hold. But if they do, Doge is back down at 5-6 cents. Soft prediction, that's going to happen sometime within the next couple of months. Polkadot, $13.01. And that covers the top 10, leaving out the stablecoins. Uniswap had a horrible week too, down 23.7%, $17.09. Litecoin, 124. Solana, 28.91, also down 21%. Chainlink, 19%. Here's the deal with Binance. Binance draws a warning over stock tokens from Hong Kong regulator. So Binance did this really smart thing. They started offering tokenized stocks. It seemed brilliant. And it was through a regulated third party that was licensed to do this sort of thing. It was done in a way that it was transparent, and they were going to have the tokenized stocks were actually going to represent they were going to be fully collateralized by the underlying asset. Right? So if you bought Tesla, this third party entity that they were working with would go out and buy one share of Tesla. Well, Hong Kong Security and Futures Commission today issued a warning that Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange by trading volume, was not allowed to conduct regulated activity, quote, regulated activity in the city, specifically trading in stock tokens. Here are the fast facts. In a statement, the SFC said it was aware that Binance was offering stock tokens in several countries and warned that stock tokens likely to be, quote, securities under the Securities and Futures Ordinance were subject to its regulatory oversight. The SFC wishes to make it clear that no entity in the Binance Group is licensed or registered to conduct regulated activity in Hong Kong, its statement said. The SFC does not tolerate any violations of the securities laws and will not hesitate to take action against unlicensed platform operators where appropriate, said Thomas Atkinson, the SFC's executive director of enforcement. Investors should be wary of the risks of trading virtual assets on an unregulated platform. If the platform ceases operation, collapses, or is hacked, investors may face the possible risk of losing their entire investments held on the platform. The SFC also said, as if that's not the case in the regular stock market. The SFC also said it had received complaints from investors over withdrawals of fiat currencies and virtual assets from their accounts on unregulated platforms. Investors are further reminded that if such platforms do not have a nexus with Hong Kong, the SFC may not have jurisdiction over them. In case of disputes, seeking recourse is likely to be difficult and legal remedies may be unavailable. In response to a request for comment, a Binance spokesperson told Forecast News Binance does not currently hold exchange operations in Hong Kong. We take our legal obligations very seriously and exchange with regulators and law enforcement in a collaborative fashion. We don't comment on specific matters or inquiries. The SFC's warning comes as Binance announced today that it was winding down support for stock tokens on Binance.com to shift our commercial focus to other product offerings. Effective immediately, stock tokens are unavailable for purchase on Binance.com, and Binance.com will no longer support any stock tokens after 10/14/2001. So it was a nice run. It was a nice try. The party was fun while it lasted, but the party is over. Binance stock tokens and companies such as Tesla, Coinbase, and Apple have drawn regulatory scrutiny over whether they violated securities laws, specifically due to the way in which they have been marketed. The cryptocurrency exchange has been in authorities' crosshairs recently, with warnings issued by regulators around the world. And it's interesting because it seems like this was a coordinated attack because it included the Cayman Islands, Germany, Italy, Japan, Thailand, United Kingdom, the United States. It's almost like there was a meeting and they were like, oh, here's a weakness point we can go after Binance with. I mean, it just really seems like that was what was going on here. And, it's one area that they have clear regulatory control over. And so they thought that they could exercise some authority and kind of give Binance a little bit of a gut shot. Boom. Boom. They definitely did. Or maybe a left hook into the face. Yeah. So this could be, one issue that is contributing to what's happening in the market right now. It's interesting to see. I mean, obviously there's two thoughts out there that regulators could be crypto's friends and regulators could not be crypto's friend. And it goes back, it does go both ways. It goes back and forth both ways. And on the one hand, it's kind of a double-edged sword because with the more regulation, it opens up the possibility for more institutional investors to come in, and there's a whole crap load of money there. But, along with those regulations typically lend tend to be favorable for those larger institutions, for the what would you call it, accredited investors and that sort of thing. So it takes the opportunity away from the general public, from the average person, which has been something that has drawn many people into crypto. So, obviously, though, it's going to continue we're going to see more and more regulation as time goes on. And we can only hope that it ends up being positive regulation. It doesn't just completely stifle and destroy the opportunities that exist. It's always done to protect. But obviously, often it has more about control, right, than it does protection. Control and the ability to track. We live in a time where the technological capability is there, and so now governments want it. They feel they have the right to use it, to know everything. They want to know everything about you: where you go, where you sleep, who you kiss, what you spend, what you buy, what you eat, what you don't eat. Here's some good news, and this is our number 2 top headline of the day. You gotta love this judge in the XRP case. Netburn is her name. I'll tell you what, thank God for Netburn. Thank God that she is the federal judge that is overseeing this SEC XRP trial. The judge denies the the SEC, I don't know where P came from. The judge, let's try that again. Rewind, reboot. The judge denies the SEC's motion to suppress deposition in Ripple case. Okay, what the heck is all this about? William Hinman, the former director of the SEC's Division of Corporation Finance, has said previously in a speech that Ethereum was not a security. So Ripple hopes to apply what he said to XRP under deposition. The SEC indicted Ripple and its executives in December for allegedly selling XRP as an unregistered security. We know that. We're going to go through all of this because it's awesome. It's hilarious. It's funny. It's cool. Hinman said in a June 2018 speech that based on his understanding of Ethereum, current offers and sales of Ether are not securities transactions. Ripple hopes to cross-examine Hinman about the reasoning behind his perspective about Ethereum at the time. Then try to apply that same rationale to XRP. This way, the deposition could lend itself to Ripple's argument that the XRP token is not a security. The SEC indicted Ripple and its executives in December for allegedly selling XRP as an unregistered security. Ripple searches for clarity. The SEC initially hoped to negate the subpoena, filing a motion to suppress the deposition. Its line of reasoning was that it could, if the deposition was, if this was allowed, they argued, it could set a precedent that would routinely require depositions of high-level government officials. Oh, God forbid that. Oh, no, we can't have that happening. We cannot have high-level officials brought by deposition to give testimony in cases that we are bringing against people. Specifically, those who spoke publicly about regulations and policies that later underwrote enforcement actions. The SEC also said that it does not speak through its staff or any individual commissioners, but only through enforcement actions. As a consequence, anything Hinman has said becomes privileged as deliberative. According to the SEC, it would then invoke the deliberative process privilege, also known as Exemption 5, if Hinman was deposed. Ripple countered, saying that Hinman was not necessarily a high-ranking official, or that he could be immunized from providing testimony. Ripple's lawyers said Hinman could easily speak to whether his 2018 comments reflected the SEC's regulatory treatment of cryptocurrencies. Ultimately, Judge Netburn felt that this was not a, quote, run-of-the-mill SEC enforcement case. She disagreed with the SEC's appraisal, responded that Hinman's deposition wouldn't open the floodgates. Reflecting on the special nature of the case in her decision, she said it involves significant policy decisions in our markets. The amount in controversy is substantial, and the public's interest in this case is significant. I love it. I absolutely love it. SEC getting smacked down. You know, the thing of it is the SEC serves some good purposes, I'm sure, you know, but good intentions don't make something right or moral, right? I'm sure you all have seen this in your own lives where, you know, somebody has good intentions, but they go about doing something in a horribly wrong way. And the SEC wants to be able to act with absolutely zero transparency. They want to be able to have privilege, you know, where they can say whatever the heck they want and they can do all kinds of things. And then here comes this judge slapping them, smacking them down. No. You know, you've got to love this. This illustrates the beauty of our system. We're supposed to have distribution of power, right? We're supposed to have, with the executive branch, the judicial branch, and the legislative branch, right? We've got these three branches of government here in the U.S., and it's a good thing, because if you were to give absolute authority to any one branch of that government, boy, then you have the dictator thing going on, and you have just rampant abuse of that authority. And this happens with these regulatory agencies, especially these three-letter regulatory agencies that nobody votes for, basically, that were chartered by the Congress at some point in time and created and given this immense amount of authority, you know, and then they create their own rules and enforce their own rules. And what it takes is a judge, and it takes all this, like, it becomes very, you know, obviously we live in this litigious society, and you have got to go to court, and you know, that's what's happening in this case. But this is all, you know, this is good. I mean, obviously, this has not come to a conclusion, and we don't know that ultimately whether this trial is going to end up being something positive for XRP in the cryptocurrency space or not. But it's amazing to see how effectively XRP, with its lawyers, which obviously are quite good, are time and time again winning small battles in this case. And I think it's due in part to the fact that we have someone here in Judge Netburn who loves freedom. She's not just a yes government person. You know, we could have very easily gotten some sort of government loving liberal, whatever you want to call it, or, you know, big government loving whatever judge that is just like going to agree with anything and everything the SEC does, and they could have been screwed, blued, and tattooed, you know, but that's not the case here. All right, moving on. Some quick headlines today. Stock to flow. Let's see here. According to Lex Moskowski, he is the investment director of Moskowski Capital. He says that Bitcoin is in a great buying opportunity right now. By this, let's see, BTC has never been as deep down the target price as it is at present. As the stock to flow model shown on Twitter by the investment director indicates, here's a chart of the stock to flow model here. The new trading mark this week for Bitcoin sits at a record 59%. It has not ever gone this far below. The likes of Moskowski have tipped this as a, quote, great buying opportunity. There's not much more going on here to talk about other than the fact that if you believe in the stock to flow model, which has been one of the best predictors and indicators, this could be a great time to buy, because it has gone down to 59%, which is the lowest in the history of Bitcoin. Bank of America approves Bitcoin futures trading. Will allegedly be using the Chicago Mercantile Exchange in order to do this. Good news for adoption. Some of Bank of America's, of course, accredited investors that utilize Bank of America will be able to engage in this activity. PayPal users can now buy $100,000 worth of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. PayPal has updated the amount that its users could purchase. Cardano-based NFT project Spores raises $2.3 million. Another NFT project setting to launch on Cardano. An example of the ever-growing, fast-growing Cardano ecosystem, which is set to just explode. You know, I tell you what, especially if, so we had Bonley had its hack or whatever we call it yesterday. There was another one today. I think it was, I forget which one, but we're seeing DeFi is in trouble, friends. And it's largely due to Ethereum and the way that Ethereum operates and the way that these tokens are created on Ethereum and the way that their smart contracts work And the way that they can be easily had, DeFi is not going to succeed unless a higher level of assurity is achieved. Now, there's a number of different ways to go about doing this, and I believe Cardano is most likely the solution to this problem. That and I forget, I was listening to a Cardano 360 podcast, I think it was months ago, and there is a project out there or a company out there that, and there's probably a few of them, and I need to look at this with more detail, but it's just coming to mind now, and so I wanted to mention it, where these smart contracts that are going to be written on Cardano are going to be reviewed. And that's what needs to happen. This needs to be solved. This is one of the problems within the space right now, within the industry, that needs to be resolved. These smart contracts and the ability to, if you get the private key, to hack and massively create more supply and do all the kinds of things that have been done. This has to get resolved. Otherwise, this thing's going to be dead on arrival eventually, or not dead on arrival, but dead in the water, right? Word of the day, insouciant. Insouciant. What does it mean? Listen, don't let the current downturn in the market worry you. Remain insouciant. It is free from concern, worry, or anxiety. Carefree, nonchalant, insouciant, from the French. INSOUCIANT for those who are listening. Insouciant. I like that word. All right, friends, we're going to wrap that up today. I am not going to jump into another portion of Inflation, the Insidious Thief, because I've already exhausted our time for the day. And we'll maybe pick up with that on Monday. I hope you have a phenomenal day. Well, I appreciate you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye now. See you on Monday.